afternoon, and thank you guys for joining us. This is me, Ms. Rhonda B, coming to you from Voices of Man's Discussion. Today, we have another one of our politicians that's out asking for you to look at them, trust them, and understand what they have to offer. Today, we're talking about the 15th District, and there's a lot of things that we're learning that the 15th District, the state Senate seat, actually cover a lot more territory than even I was aware of. My partner in crime, Miss Maureen Forte, is not here with us today from In the Know with Mo. Today is Reverend Harry's birthday, so she went to hang out with him instead. But I do have my other partner here, Miss Mary T, from the Mary T perspective.
Good afternoon and welcome.
Okay.
Welcome,
and then we're going to talk today, have a brief conversation with Mr. Napoleon Harris. And pardon me if I call you Napoleon Hill, but I've been doing that for the last couple of months. But Napoleon Harris, he is running for state rep of the 15th District.
Senator.
Oh, see, I will let him tell his own story. Let me tell my version first. He's running for state senator, right, of the 15th District. That seat is currently being held by Reverend Meeks of Chicago. So, Mr. Napoleon Harris, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, and then I'm going to let you tell the audience a little bit about yourself. And first of all, the seat that you're actually running for, because it'll be helpful we get it right.
My name is Napoleon Harris, and I'm running for the state senator seat that's going to be vacated by Reverend Meeks in the 15th Legislative District. From Dixmoor, Illinois, born and raised, had the opportunity to attend Northwestern University on an athletic scholarship. Played professional football for 7 years. Was drafted as a first-round draft pick to the Oakland Raiders in the 2002 draft. Later, opened up a business, Beggar's Pizza. You guys may be familiar with that. Have 2 locations in Harvey, Illinois. No, ma'am, I didn't. Not today.
Okay, but go on.
2 locations in Harvey, Illinois, and Orland Park, Illinois. I'm a proud owner and also a proud dad and a devoted husband. My wife Nicole and my son Napoleon IV keep me level-headed and grounded in this endeavor.
Okay,
I'm running for the state senate. I'm an entrepreneur, small business owner. Started the Napoleon Harris Foundation. We advocate for childhood obesity, and we provide scholarships for disadvantaged youth.
Oh, okay. So now, you have 3 Beggar's Pizzas.
I have two that I own outright, and then I'm partners with the actual owners of Beggars in another venture.
Okay, okay. So you have 2 in Harvey, one over there by the Metro train, and where's the other one?
No, one in Harvey. One by the Metro station, and the other one is in Orland Park.
In Orland Park, okay. Yeah. Okay, so we get that food stuff out the way. Okay, which is very good. And now, tell me a little bit. First, 2 things. I want you to tell me how did you end up in the political arena. But the other thing is, you say you have a foundation. Now, this is for disadvantaged children or disabled children?
Disadvantaged, like youth that probably don't. That's youth from disadvantaged areas.
Okay.
That don't have the opportunity, much like myself. You know, I grew up basically under the poverty level in Dixmoor, Illinois, but yet I was able to overcome a lot of different circumstances. All kids in all areas don't have those same opportunities that I've had. Fortunately for me, I grew up in a Christian home who had a strong family support. Both of my grandfathers were ministers. I had a strong support of the clergy, strong support of my aunts and uncles who were living in the home as well. But everyone's not fortunate to have that family structure. So luckily for me, that structure was there, and I was able to work hard. And
now, were you born in Dixmoor and raised there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
all the way to the day I got drafted.
Oh, that's a good.
So I was born right there, Ingalls Hospital, right on Wood Street.
Okay.
So the same streets that these kids walk today, the same school system that they went to, I attended. So as I like to say, the same mud on my shoes are the same mud on their shoes.
And you went to Rosa Park Elementary?
Yes, ma'am. Rosa Park's right there in Dixmoor, 147 in Rosa.
Yeah. I wonder, was Mr. Jackson the principal when you were there?
When I was there, Winston Johnson.
Johnson was the principal.
Dr. Winston Johnson was there. He also was a pastor at Johnny Coleman's church.
Right.
And Mr. Rome was the superintendent.
Okay, yeah. And then when Johnson was there, I used to sub there at Rosa Park at that point.
So you're familiar with Miss Nina Graham?
Mm-hmm. And Miss Burgess, were you there when Loretta Burgess was there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So Mrs. Nina Graham, who was my science teacher there, she's actually the chairman of Teachers for Napoleon for my campaign. So she's been very instrumental in my growth and my learning as a youth. And I take pride in that, having teachers from back in the day, as we like to call it, to stand up and see one of their students become successful.
That is, because you know what? Because those little towns, Dixmoor, Harvey, Marvel, Phoenix, you know, there's a lot of success stories out of those
Yes.
towns. A lot of sad stories, but a lot of success stories. And so the people in the community like sort of own you when you actually come through. And like I said, Rosa Park was an interesting
Right.
experience. And so,
But rightfully so.
Mhm.
They were a big part of my
Mhm.
development. It was
Okay.
teachers like Miss Graham
Mhm.
and Miss Bernard and
Mhm.
Miss Lindsay and Mr. Moore. It was teachers like that
right, okay.
that helped me develop as a young man,
Okay.
who loved me and taught me, and
Mhm.
not just me, but
Mhm.
others who were there
Right,
as
right.
well. And I take pride in that I was fortunate to have them as teachers.
And turned out
And
to
so
be,
it's great that whenever, you know, they tell us this all the time, whenever professional athletes or people make it out of a community,
Mhm.
they never come back.
right, right.
Well, as a youth, they told me,
Mhm.
go to school, get an education, and be somebody, but don't forget where you come from.
Okay.
But I'm taking them on their word. I went to school, I got a great education from Northwestern University.
And where are you
travel-
currently standing now? Where you
I'm
at?
currently staying in Flossmoor.
Okay, so
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
staying in South
So I'm
Suburban
still staying in the South Suburban area, and I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Okay.
This is the area, the Southland area has been an area that's raised me, that's
Mhm.
made me the person that I am today.
Mhm.
And I'm not, as they say, people say, give back.
Mhm.
That's a term that's kind of loosely thrown out there.
Mhm.
I don't consider myself as giving back.
Mhm.
It's more so as reinvesting
Right.
in the community that has invested in me.
And that's amazing.
So without those people taking up on themselves the responsibility to tutor,
Mhm.
mentor, nourish the young Napoleon Harris,
Mhm.
I wouldn't have the same opportunity that I have now. And I just want to make sure that kids and the future generation have the same opportunities, if not better, than what I've
And
had.
your story will be different. But now, so you've spoken to Eric Kellogg in Harvey,
Yes, ma'am.
but you know he said he takes not said, but he takes pride in young people, especially young boys who come through the community, and then they're still a part of the community.
Interestingly enough, Mayor Kellogg was my 7th and 8th grade gym teacher,
Okay.
as well as the dean of students at Rosa Parks.
Okay.
And it's funny how time evolves and changes, but Mayor Kellogg was instrumental in my development as well in another aspect.
Mhm.
Growing up, you know, I come from a Christian background,
Mhm.
but my dad wasn't always there. He
Mhm.
was in and out,
Mhm.
you know, here and there, as I guess as best he could.
Mhm.
However, Mayor Kellogg took myself and other young boys, and we had a program that he started called Overnight Sensation. And there was a program, and I remember it clear as day when it first happened, where he took young men that he saw
Mhm.
that needed a little guidance.
Okay.
And we slept and spent the night at the school.
Okay.
And we had to get our parents to sign off on it, the parental consent.
Mhm.
We spent the night at the school, and we had an opportunity to just bond
Okay.
with men.
Mhm.
He brought in different speakers to talk to us, police officers,
Mhm.
fire police, successful African Americans, so we could see ourselves in position of influence and power, and as well as help us with our homework, tutors. We played basketball, but more importantly, we bonded, we learned, we did work, and we created a bond, and he taught us how to be young men.
Oh, glad to hear that. I know way a lot about how he reached out to young people, but that's nice to actually be sitting with someone who's actually admits that they benefited from the things that he was doing. Because like I say, back in the day when he was the gym teacher at Rosa Park, I was there as a sub, and then Miss Burgess was there in the library.
Mhm.
And then we meet a lot of people over the years. So I used to have a nightclub there in Harvey. So most of the times I've seen them, they would come to the nightclub. So it's nice to see somebody else who actually like, okay, I'm a stand-up citizen on my own. Okay, now we're going to talk about politics. How did you get in this political arena? Have you run for an office before?
No, ma'am, I've never run for a political office, but I've been around politics all my life.
Mm-hmm.
When you really think about it, growing up in the church, both of my grandfathers are pastors and ministers,
Mm-hmm.
and politics are really a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
People look at politics as a negative thing, but
Mhm.
it's more so a way to govern.
Right.
And in anything you do in life, it's some kind of leadership
Mhm.
and it's some type of governing.
Mm-hmm.
And by both of my grandfathers being ministers and
Mhm.
pastors of churches, as they say, it's politics involved.
Right.
But you have to govern over people and make decisions
Right.
when every time is in the best interest of everyone
Mhm.
and not just one particular interest group.
So how did you get here? How did you?
Well,
get
I've always
involved?
had an interest
Mm-hmm.
in helping my community.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a situation when I found out that Reverend Meeks didn't intend on running
Mm-hmm.
for re-election. It was an open seat.
Okay.
And most people, when you tell them that, they say, well, you got big shoes to fill. And I admire that Reverend Meeks did an admirable job in the position that he was in. But I'm gonna let Reverend Meeks take his shoes, and because I don't want him barefoot in this pulpit, and I'm gonna bring my own because I think my foot's a little big, and I didn't want to hurt my feet.
I'm just gonna say, did you tell him you have large feet?
Yeah, but I don't know if we told you had big shoes to fill in, but we're not going to talk about that.
You know, no, the Reverend did some good things there.
We're not going to talk about that. Listen, we're not going to talk about that because I'm not going to go there with that one. I'm going to agree with that. But let you tell your story. What is a state senator? What do they do? What do you know about the position? Why should the public trust you to, you know, fill those shoes?
Well, the state senator is a part of government that legislates, that create laws and implement bills in order for us to incorporate in our daily lives to make us more effective in our communities. And I have great trust that I know how to be a leader. First and foremost, we need someone who's going to be reputable, someone who's trustworthy, and someone who's transparent in government, and they don't have to worry about having a press conference saying that they're going to jail. We've had so much corruption here in Illinois, and it's time for a change. We need the people to basically be entrusted with leadership. It's difficult enough as it is to live day to day in the economy that we have and the things that are going on in our regular communities. We need to make sure that government is effective.
Now, which areas do you, is that 15th district covering?
The 15th district expands from Rosa community from 114 all the way through Beecher. So it's parts of Rosa, which is the 9th Ward, Alderman Bill, Harvey.
Have you spoken with him?
Yes, Alderman Bill is one of my supporters.
Now, wasn't he originally supposed to run for the seat?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, it may have been some discussion there, but to my knowledge, he's content with being the alderman of the 9th Ward, and he's going to continue to try to move the 9th Ward forward in the right direction. And as I go to my quest for the Senate, once I'm elected as senator, I plan on helping them in that quest. Yes, we definitely want partnerships. I don't think you can just single out one particular municipality or area and say that this is your focus. As senator, you have to be conscious that you are over an entire district. And each municipality in each district has things that needs to be addressed and issues. And my job is to work through those issues and to, as the best of my abilities, to make sure that resources are brought to those communities.
And help the state resources help the local, because the local elected officials are the ones who's going to be running the community.
Correct.
So so what about the gardens? Is that they
yes,
also?
Argyle Gardens is a part of the district. Harvey, South Holland, Markham, Country Club Hills, pieces of Country Club Hills.
Now that part we found interesting because I did not know that because I live in Country Club Hills. So it has to be a very small portion.
Yes, I believe it's one precinct, but it's the eastern part of Country Club Hills along
by Hillcrest High School.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
A little further east.
Hazelcrest.
Yes, Hazelcrest is in the district.
Okay.
The
Have
majority
you spoken to Donaldson?
Yes, Mayor Donaldson is on board as well.
Have you gone to the mayor and the manager's meeting?
Yes, I've been to the mayor's and manager's meeting, and quite a few of the mayors here locally, especially the African American mayors, are on board with my candidacy.
Is that openly or in the closet?
No, that's open. They've signed endorsements saying that they support Napoleon Harris, and we're moving forward. And we're doing so.
I see your signs all over the place. Okay, now the people, tell the people why should they care that Napoleon Harris as opposed to Tiny Tim is running for this district?
Well, number one, like I stated earlier, it's about transparency in government. Me, myself, I'm not a...
But a lot of politicians say that until they become a politician, so besides that.
See, that's the difference. I'm still not a politician.
I know, because you're not elected.
And I don't plan on ever, as they say, being the status quo politician. I look at my job as a public servant. And I think as long as I keep that in mind and be cognizant of who I work for, you know, I work for the people. The people don't work for me. And that's the attitude that I'm going to take to Springfield day one. And people need to understand that. I think we get comfortable with seats as elected officials, and we are beholden to self-interest groups and PACs and things of that nature. Whereas myself, I'm standing alone in my attempt to run.
But you know what, but it is a marriage, though, that you have to, this is the unfortunate part about being in politics, because doing the right thing does not get you elected or keep you elected. So it's a marriage. It has to be a combination of your consciousness to do the right thing and all the groups that you have to try to deal with to get the right thing done.
I believe in just working with people, having allies, but I can honestly say I'm not going to do anything in Springfield or anything else a part of my life to jeopardize my integrity as a human being. I think if we look at everything, I think if we look at everything from that point of view, and then you should adhere to it. It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to adhere to it. So people can say a lot of things, but actions speak louder than words. My record indicates that of things that I've done in the past as far as the way I've conducted myself. And a lot of these elected officials, this is their only job. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with it. That's fine. But I just believe that in your own personal life, before you became an elected official, if you don't have that in order, how could you help govern over someone else's life?
But you know, yeah, I can see, but it's a transition, because a lot of them, obviously, they had a job before they seek the office, and then when they seek the office, they got committed and compassionate about what they're doing, and it became their full-time job. So I don't knock them on that.
No, I'm saying that some of these people that get into these positions before, and their regular life is not in order.
Their personal life.
Their personal life. My thing is, mine is. I mean, it's transparent.
Okay, Mitt Romney. Okay.
Oh, come on now, don't group me with a Republican.
Okay.
I'm a Democrat.
Okay, but now do you feel pulled upon a lot of times by, by elders and men, your senior, to be a mentor to young guys coming behind you?
Yes, ma'am. That's something I take a lot of pride in.
Okay.
Because, like as I stated earlier, Mayor Kellogg was a mentor for us as young men. But not just him. It's been a staple of other people who's been mentors. Pastor Sims.
Now, do you cover Phoenix as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool.
And Mayor Terry Wells was my teacher in high school as well, and he's one of my supporters. The thing with that
they got to be proud of you.
It definitely makes me feel good to make them proud.
Right,
To give them something to be proud of. But I tell you this, my role model in all this probably is my grandmother. My grandmother from Dixmoor, she gave birth to 19 kids.
Wow.
And my mother is number 2 of 19. And in today's society, if you say someone had 19 kids, they're going to say, well, how many baby daddies? But luckily for my grandmother, it was all about my grandfather.
Oh, yeah, but what, back because we have an aunt, my mom's aunt had 19 children as well. She gave birth to 21, 19 lived. Obviously by the same father. Yeah, not today if somebody had 19 children, right? It'll be probably about 17 fathers.
Right.
Yes.
But the thing what makes me so proud about that is
which in itself, I want to say this too, I don't even knock that. I mean, even it's sort of, you shouldn't be doing it that way. But that's not, the child is already here.
Right.
It's the product that they've been able to produce and mold, like in your case. Because you could have all these big daddies and they still end up with Napoleon. And fortunately, because of those Napoleons, remembering what the Kellogg's and the Wells did for them, then even though they don't have those big daddies in the household, because I think this is such a disadvantage to our young people. Because I'm in the educational system, especially to our young black males, because you have the father's right attorney and their commercials about
Jeffrey Levin.
And but as you like and respect him, that's not a good message for our young people.
Correct.
Because there's so much that's going to happen in this lifetime, and then there's so much that's out of your control, but then there's a lot that's in your control. And to tell a person or try to have a young person accept the reality that because something that was out of your control is going to supersede the things that's in your control, it's just not a good message.
It's not. And that's why hopefully for myself, going into schools, mentoring to young men, and letting them know that I've been where you're at.
Right. That's a good message.
I understand what it's like to be poor.
Right.
I understand what it's like to work hard. We can control that. We can't control where we're born and how we're born or what we're born into. But we can control our outcome. If we will continue to work hard, continue to be teachable and learn, we can climb out of any situation. And that's fact, because I'm a product of that. And that's the message that I preach. I believe in it wholeheartedly, and it's effective, and it works.
And to be born fatherless does not make a person moralless, or it does not make them not have opportunities that life has to offer. But they have to be able to hear that.
Correct.
So that's why I asked you, and I know without even knowing you, they had to be pulling on you just mentor-wise for no other reason that you just stayed in the community.
It's about the decisions that you make. I truly believe in decision-making ability, but more importantly, I believe in any young man who's willing to learn, who's willing to listen. If he's teachable, he's going to be good, because it's about the process. I mean, before me, it's been many come before me. There's going to be many come after me.
Now, how did you get into the football? Did you just naturally feel you had that ability, or did you just love the sport, or
You know what?
someone recognized it in you?
I was a basketball player. I never intended on becoming a professional football player.
Okay.
You know, I was always, for lack of a better word, a smart kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was always on the honor roll, National Honor Society, because those were things that my mother stressed to us. You had to be smart.
Okay.
Her thing was, who's the smartest in your class? And if you said someone else, if you wasn't the smartest, then she's gonna have you in the house reading, doing books to make sure that you are the smartest person in your class. But when it came down to football, it was just one day, and I was in lunch in high school. I never played as a
high
youth.
school?
Never played Pop Warner football, any of that. In high school, a coach told me, come on out to the field. He said, I'm going to put you at tight end, and you should like it. So I went out on the team with Coach Bibby.
Okay.
He put me at safety. I got an interception. I was like, okay. Played tight end, caught a few passes. I was like, okay. So the game comes. I catch an interception. I run up the sideline and I get hit. Get knocked silly. The ball fumbles. And I told him, he was like, are you okay? I'm dizzy. I'm like, I think I want to do the one that's hitting. I don't like getting hit. They put me at cornerback. I got into a 3-point stance at cornerback. I had no clue to what to do in football, but they worked with me, and things seemed to work out.
Yeah, a lot of good rags to riches stories. Okay, so let's go back to your politics then. So now, did you approach someone and say you were interested, or did someone approach you?
It was a combination. Actually, years before I even decided to make the decision, people would come to me, business leaders in the community, clergy, that would come down and say, we need young men like yourself being the leaders of this community, standing tall and having people to support this. Say, we preach this. We preach young African-American leadership, and we need you to stand up and represent our community. And at the time, I didn't feel I was ready because I was still playing football. I was just opening up new businesses, and I had a lot on my plate. And I wanted to make sure that I was stable in doing what I was doing, to make sure that the business was up, operating at a high level, to make sure that I had everything out of my system as far as playing. And I wanted to be a devoted public servant, and make sure that the things that I was ready for to get into, that I was all dedicated to it, that I was all hands on deck. I wanted to make sure that it was a full-time commitment.
Now, do you know Reverend Meeks? Have you spoken directly to him?
I haven't spoken directly to him. We've had some kind of dialogue from people that know him and that know me, reaching out to make phone calls, and from what he has said to them, that he was staying neutral in the race. It's a primary, and he's respectful of everyone that's in the race, and he said the best person wins, and he have the support. But at some point, I do plan on sitting down with the Reverend just to share in some of his wisdom of other positions, because he was the senator for quite some time, and a lot of wisdom comes with that seat.
And I haven't heard anything bad about him, so I would assume he was doing a decent job. I just was teasing him good first, because I mean, even though I followed him in the seat, and I was in real estate when he was like in his heyday, and he made a couple of decisions that I truly disagreed with. But that's just with any politician.
Right.
I know a lot of them, and I don't always agree with that. But as far as being above board and being transparent, I don't have anything ill to say about him. But I will say this, if there's any truth to it, you say you met with Deborah Sims,
Yes,
Commissioner Sims.
Yeah.
Now, Commissioner Sims says that you're okay. That's huge, because she's a big Meeks fan as far as his politics.
Well, I believe she's a member of his church, and like I said, I don't get into who likes who and who
no,
does
I'm not
this.
talking about liking, I'm talking about politics. And,
Okay.
You're there and you have to do work with them. I'm not talking about personal, that doesn't matter.
Well, that's what it's about. It's about working with people.
With them,
and it's, to me, I look at the political arena in the sense of the General Assembly as it's no different than football.
Right.
As football, we have to work as a team.
Right. Yeah.
So it's different,
that's my point,
interchangeable and moving parts.
But her seat and the different seats that's in there, something that you need done for your constituent, you guys have to always, you don't have to always agree, but you have to.
It's about working together.
Right. So that's why I said
no one's going to agree on everything.
Right.
No one's going to agree on everything that Napoleon Harris does. However, they will respect my ability to make the best decision for everyone.
But when you get in there, then you can let us know. I'll come back and interview you and tell me how come Commissioner Sims and Reverend Senator Meeks have two gentlemen clubs in their district with so few jobs. You know, you don't know yet. You just tell me when you get in there. Because I'm going to get on the benefit of the doubt that they made the decision based on it being business and there's some logical reason why they have 2 gentlemen clubs in the 2 poorest areas, you know, when there's a need for so many other jobs.
Well, it is, but I'm not defending either case. But from what I understand of just business in general, because I am a business owner, the people can dictate what type of business comes to a community all the time. I mean, it's a lot to do with finances. It's a lot to do with opportunity. Now, I know they've done some things with the Gentlemen's Club that's located in the Bourbon Beach District, as far as making it tough to obtain a liquor license. Those are things that they've tried to do and have been successful at doing to making sure that those things are not there. As far as jobs, everyone wants jobs in their community. That's going to be one of the forefront things of my candidacy. I'm going to do everything in my power to bring jobs to the community, to reach out to businesses, to get them to come to our area. Me, myself, being a small business owner, I know that small businesses are the engine that runs the local economy. We need to do a better job of advocating for banks and lending institutions to give entrepreneurs an opportunity to lend fairly.
Now Fort Heights, is that also part of your district?
Yes, ma'am.
And then have you met the mayor out there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so after you made your round, now I personally didn't know that much about you other than what I read. I see your signs all the time, and I hear a lot of warm and positive things about you. The mentorship, you know, he's a good role model for our youth. Heard that a lot. Today we came out to meet with one of the. This is not exactly your district, but we are in Country Club Hills, and then there's a alderman. Do you know Mr. Lockett?
Yes, I've met him. Yes,
but you didn't know him.
Right.
So obviously he knows you because he spoke highly of you, and so he allowed us to, you know, take up a little of his time and come and meet in his little kitchen so that we can all introduce you to the public. And where happened to Mary? Mary was supposed to be in with us, but now she done coughed herself to death and left us. So, but Mary too, Mary Trust from the Mary Key perspective, she's, I'm not, which obviously she stepped out, so I can't ask. I'm not sure she was familiar with you from before, but see, she's also from the University Park area. Okay. The part that she lives in does not cover your district.
She's in part of the west part.
She's in the
University Park, right, which I believe bunches up with Senator Toy Hutchinson.
Toy Hutchinson, right. And then, so tell us again that, because you told us off camera, the part of University Park that you embrace will be, or that your
it'll be the eastern part of University Park from the golf course.
Western?
Yes, it's western.
That's Western?
From Western. From Western over to 394 Expressway.
Okay, to the Expressway. Yeah, which is actually interesting. I didn't even know it picked up any part of University Park, but to go all the way over to 394, that's a pretty big chunk of creek.
Just a little bit.
Okay, yeah, and then it goes out to Beach, Illinois.
Yes, ma'am.
So now have you reached out to mayors further south?
I have. Still waiting on a few phone calls. Being, I guess let's say, the new guy on the block, a lot less responsive. But nevertheless, we're out knocking on doors.
Now, have you spoken to the mayor of Creek?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so you got it. Okay, so now she's giving us the wrap up. So I'm going to allow you to close us out because obviously we're talking to the voting public. I'm just one person. Actually, I can't even vote for you. But my family, lives in your area, and then not only that, obviously I, write for that community. So tell the public. You know, we've introduced you to Napoleon Harris. He's running for the state senator seat that's currently held by the Reverend Meeks. And he's developing relationships, which is important for any politician. But tell them what you would like for them to know and how they could come out and support you.
Well, to come out and support, you can follow us on the web at www.electnapoleonharris.com or call 708-893-0552 to come out and volunteer. We have a lot of people on the ground. We're still looking for more supporters in all aspects of the district. And if you want a senator who's going to fight hard for your rights and advocate to bring resources back to the 15th district, who's going to promote jobs, promote education reform, public safety, as well as health care, accessibility and affordability, vote for Napoleon Harris on March 20th. And I definitely appreciate your support and looking forward to continue to work hard for the residents of the 15th district.
And I thank you for your time, and I'm going to close with this because I did speak. Do you know Reverend Al Sampson?
No, ma'am.
You don't know Reverend Sampson. But I did speak with Reverend Sampson, so he asked me to ask you and your team, your campaign team, to get in touch with him. because
Will
he
do.
too, you know, being an elderly gentleman and being a pillar of the community, admire young men who have gone out, quote unquote, made it in society, and then reach back for those younger ones coming behind them. So he did want to have a conversation with you.
I have no problem with doing it, and thank you for reaching out, and I'll be expecting to reach out to you as well soon, sir.
Thank you.